Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our weekly MMA talk show called Chokes and Eye Pokes, where we discuss all things MMA and combat sports related. I'm your host as always, Vern, joined by my co-host, Jack. Jack, welcome back. I know you're in Joburg this week.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's good to be back.
Good to be back, eh?
Yeah.
You're not a fan of Johannesburg?
No, I mean, no, not so much. Cape Town's really good, just for the mountain,
And Pretoria?
And Pretoria, I prefer Joburg.
Is it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
To Pretoria?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. But Cape Town's still number one, eh?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. No MMA this weekend. Well, this past weekend, there wasn't a fight card. So we kind of sat on our swings and contemplated life, like that meme. But anyway, this weekend, we do have some fights. We've got the fight night, Dariush versus Tsarukyan. There's a couple of interesting fights. Interesting for the fact of the way that the styles are, but also interesting for the fact that there are a couple on the main card that make zero sense.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, okay. Some from the undercard, I mean, we were talking about it, Misha Tate on the undercard. Yeah, she's fallen down a little bit lately.
Yeah, shame. She's still ranked as number 12. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, because she's still got the star factor as well. So it's very surprising, especially with the last two fights on the main card.
But also, if you look at someone like Nate Diaz was so win, lose, win, lose, 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 win. You know, like he had such an up and down record. Was unranked for the longest time, but always would be like up at the top. You know, of the card. But hey, Misha unlucky. Sorry. We do, however, have Punahele Soriano versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Punah's Koning in this one possibly.
Yeah.
9-3 for Punah, and I'm gonna call him Punah at middleweight. And Dustin Stoltzfus, 14-5. Punah had I think he beat Dolce. That's what I know him for.
Yeah.
Beat champion Dolce previously. Stoltzfus is 1-5 in his last 6, and he lost to Abus, and we know what Abus has been doing.
Yeah.
The last little while. So yeah, what are you making of the fight? This is the one of the fights that I'm wondering how it made it to the main card.
Yeah.
The other one I'll get to in a second, but yeah, how did they make? I mean, they've got a combined 2 wins in their last 9.
Yes, for sure. I don't know how. I don't know how. The only thing that makes sense is like both of them do lack a lot of defense, so maybe it's just going to be like a bit of a touch and go fight, but lots of scrambles and stuff. I do think Puna has a lot of power, so like there's that factor, but all in all, a big mixed bag for them both. Yeah.
Puna's got hard punches, and he's also got 3 knockouts his UFC career.
Yeah.
6 wins by KO total of his 9. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. I know that they probably want to stay standing, especially Punah.
Yeah.
But because most of his losses have come to grapplers. So yeah, I'm hoping it's a bit of a banger to open up this card. I mean, they do have bad records the last while, but they realistically have nothing to lose. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing.
If you go play it safe, you go and have a boring win or a boring loss on either side. You may as well just go stand and bang and guard on your shield and give everyone an entertaining fight.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, because Puna's been here for a while, so it's like I wouldn't be surprised if maybe his contract's ending and it's a case of like just balls to the walls. It's one of your like. I can't imagine that both of them are gonna get, or either of them are gonna have their contracts renewed. So it's like,
barring some crazy entertaining
yeah
thing where people are like, we love to see what you can do in the next fight. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Punah is scoring in this one. I'm gonna go by KO. I think round 2.
Okay, nice. I'm also going Punah. I'm going round 3.
Round 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's just gonna punch too hard, I feel.
Yeah.
This is the next fight. Clay Guida, 38-23.
Yeah.
Insane. I knew you had a lot of fights, but I didn't realize it was that many. Versus Joaquim Silva. This is 12-4. This is at lightweight. Guida 4-6 in his last 10.
Yeah.
Silva 2-4 in his last 6. With a notable victory, which actually before he was 10-0. Notable victory recently also against Gordon, which was quite surprising. Close-ish against Arman Tsarukyan. That's because Arman was trying to play the same game as him.
Yeah.
Trying to beat him in his own game, but eventually got outclassed. 7 wins via KO for Silva. Guida, it's just so many wins. So many losses, but yeah,
Yeah.
always entertaining, always energetic, very, very hard to finish.
Yeah, he's so active. I was looking at that record. He's not old either. He's like
Mm.
what, like 34 or something.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
old in the game though. That's a problem. He's
Yes, for
been
sure.
there for. But you can go watch UFCs from like. He's already only 34. I
Yeah.
was gonna say from like 15 years ago, but maybe that's stretching it a little bit because that would make him 19. But yeah, dude, OG of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying for this one? What do you think?
I'm gonna go Silva just because that fight against Tsarukyan, I hear what you're saying, but that was, I don't know. That was still relatively impressive, and he has been really good. Like he's been consistently maybe not at a level to compete in like the top 5 just yet, but enough to I'd say get this win.
Method?
I'd say oof. I'm gonna say TKO.
Okay.
Second round.
I'm also going. I'm also going with Joaquim the Dream. I'm gonna go decision. I don't know if I should
it's
go
tough.
split decision or if I should go unanimous.
Yeah.
Just because Clay Guida, the thing with Clay Guida is like he's so tough to put away.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to probably submit him. I mean, in his recent losses, most of them have been decision.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a knee bar loss. I didn't check past so many fights. I didn't check past, but I know like historically he's always been tough to finish.
Yeah.
He's still a good fighter. Like he's
for
solid at
sure.
everything.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's just his will, his cardio, or what it is, or like maybe there's just a step too high for him to go. But yeah, I think Joaquim's like still. I mean, we're gonna remember he's 12-4, and he's lost to tough people.
Yeah.
And he does have a win over Jared Gordon as well, which he was super impressive in. So yeah, I'm gonna go split this. I don't want to go. I'll go unanimous decision.
Okay.
I was gonna lean towards a split decision because the judging these days is so whack. They could have, 100 punches to 5, and they go like, oh, against Clay Guida, and go, oh, Clay Guida should win that one.
Yeah. But
Some judge. So
yeah, I can imagine it being quite close. Well, relatively close, because Guida, like you say, he's still like he's active and he's still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we both got Silva on that one. Then we've got a welterweight part. This one is beginning to become tough to call. I actually still haven't made a. I mean, I've got a winner here, but I haven't. Like, I could still change it while I'm talking. Sean Brady 15-1 versus Kelvin Gastelum 17-8 at welterweight.
Yeah.
Both these guys have had a bit of a stop-start. I mean, they haven't really been able to reach their full potential, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
There were some people saying that Brady was like possibly going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, huge hype train last year.
Yeah, huge hype train. And then it did get derailed. But yeah, Bilal, your favorite. My decision.
I'm gonna take you outside.
Derailed the hype train. So yeah, it's 15-1, 5-1 in the UFC. Gastelum, I'm not even gonna tell you what his last 5-6 fights were, because with Gastelum we know every time form goes out the window. It doesn't matter what has happened to him. Like he could have the worst showing and then almost beat Izzy for the middleweight title, and then have issues fighting someone else and knock out Bisping. You know what I mean? So form goes out the window. I don't know what his last couple of fights were, but yeah, always up and down between 170 and 185. More recently, not really had much luck at 185, so back to 170, I guess.
Yeah. So before I speak about this card, it's also really I'm super excited for this main card, because from this fight up, it's only people with numbers next to their names. Yeah. And for this fight to be at the 4th from the top is also really cool.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, I mean...
Do you think it should be 3rd?
No, because I think Figueroa font's probably like close to possibly a title eliminator.
Yeah.
If Figueredo wins, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Maybe I would actually have put Bobby Green lower, to be honest with you, and put this second.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I don't know why that's
so high, even against Dan Hooker. I don't understand why that's so high, because
Americans.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They see Bobby Green maybe having some momentum, being entertaining the way he talks. So, anyways, we'll get to those.
Yeah.
So Brady had some good wins over Chiesa and Matthews.
Yeah.
And then that's when the hype train really, even though for me Chiesa's not a welterweight, he's a lightweight, like honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Gastelum for sure is the better fighter overall. And I think if he follows Bilal's blueprint to beat Brady, he should be able to beat Brady. But that being said, Gastelum has had some issues with grapplers more recently.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one to call. It's a really, really tough one to call. I think, I'll just say this. If Brady is at his best, he beats Gastelum.
Yeah, I think
feel.
that if Brady's at his best, he can go to the title for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, because after Colby and Leon, Kamara's out of the picture. He's in the middleweight division. Hamzat's out of the picture. So possibly, yeah.
Yeah, but Bilal, I don't know.
Bilal's waiting for his title shot.
Yeah, he's
So,
waiting in the wings. Yeah.
What do you think? Who's winning this one?
I think Sean. I have Sean Brady.
You got Brady.
Yeah, because he's still like his run before the Bilal loss was really I did believe that hype train. I think that he's really big for the weight class as well, and really good grappler and wrestler. So I don't know. I think it hasn't been that long. Because it was like a year and like a month, right, since the last loss. Yeah,
It's about a year and a bit.
yeah, and I don't think ring rust is going to be that big a factor. So I don't know. It really does depend how he took that loss, but I'm leaning more Brady. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could be 100% right, and that's why I say if he's at his best, then the ring rust
Yeah.
isn't there, and the time off doesn't affect him for sure.
Yeah.
I just think it's too long to be out. I think he was so active before that, or not super active, but he was a lot more active before that.
Yeah.
And I think the loss is hung over his head. Plus the fact that Gastelum probably wants to prove something.
He has something to prove as well, for sure. I mean that fight he just won against Curtis. And like that was, you could see he's got a fire under him for sure.
Especially now also we're looking at this, we're talking about Brady if he wins getting a title shot. If Gastelum wins, he possibly gets a title shot too.
Yeah.
It's fairly thin from like now with those two gone, with Usman and Hamza gone, it's
Yeah.
pretty thinly spread. So
For sure.
they could want to chuck Gastelum in the mix again, and he's always dangerous too. That power in his left hand is insane. So I'm thinking he follows a similar blueprint possibly to Bilal. He's also big. He should be big for the weight class because he's come from 85.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go. Actually, Gastelum's got one way to win, bro. It's a KO. So
Yeah.
if I go Gastelum, I gotta go all in on this. So Gastelum by KO. I gotta go with that.
I can see why you would say that. That's fair. I'm gonna stick with Brady.
Yeah, no, fair enough. We don't have to be the same. We don't have to pick
Yeah.
the same. Then number 3, we got Rob Font, 20-7, coming off a loss to Corey Sandhagen. This is at bantamweight. Then Deiveson Figueredo, who's now had his 4 fights with Moreno previously. But mind you, Font is 1-4 in his last 5 as well. We just got to note that. But I mean, it was people like Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen. It's the best of the best.
Yes, for sure.
And Figueredo is 21-3-1, and then making his 135-pound debut. What do you think of this fight?
I have Figueredo. I think that so in the time that he lost to Moreno, it's actually been a while. I think that he was planning to move up anyway. Like in that last fight with him, that was kind of the what they were talking about. It was like he was going to move up. So I think he's just, in this time that he wasn't active, I think that he must have just been putting on the muscle that he needed and doing like that very clean. So I think he's going to come into this very prepared, especially since he knows like he's not going to get another title shot at flyweight. Well, he thought he wouldn't. He might. I mean, but I don't think he's going to make his way down anymore.
Well, look, if he's made the adjustments and put on the muscle, then I don't think there's a point going back down to 25.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing with him is those losses against Moreno have really come down to like a heavyweight cut anyway.
Yeah.
I think it was quite big in any event.
Yeah.
What this fight's going to get down to, because remember, Font is going to be, so Figueredo is going to be big,
Yeah.
but not big in his frame. So he's going to be big sort of muscle-wise, but not that much reach. So it's all going to come down to whether he can get on the inside or not.
Yes, for sure.
And yeah, I mean, Font is like stupidly durable. He's only been finished once in his career.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's so tough because like I think if Figueredo wins this, he could be in line for a title shot. Although we don't know what's happening with Sandhagen. Maybe they'll make a Sandhagen fight. But it's so tough to call, because I originally thought, like, no, Figueredo's too old. Because he's 35 and, like, he's really, really old. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be a long night. But Font's 36.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
So
Yeah.
I originally had Font by decision, but I think I'm going to go Figueredo by decision. I think I'm going to go Figueredo by decision. I think he gets on the inside. I think he does what he needs to do. And Font, I mean, dude, Font loses to the top guys. I also don't... Hang on a second. I don't like to pick people who go up a weight class straight away.
Yeah. Very rarely works out.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. But I think I'll go with Figueredo. I think a proper contender at a lower weight class should outclass top, like, towards the middle to the end of the top 10, top 15 of a class above. So yeah, I think I'll go Figueredo by decision.
Okay, I'm gonna go Figueredo. I think he's gonna be hunting for the KO. Like, from the bell, he's just gonna be out there trying to, like, close that distance. I think I'm gonna say second round TKO.
Oh, it's gonna be tough, eh?
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough. But listen, if he does it, dude,
yeah,
it's gonna be very, very tough. Okay, now this fight, I don't know how it's so high up. I don't know what the hype is behind Bobby Green. But we got Bobby Green versus Jalin Turner now. Dan Hooker was injured. Jalin Turner's on, like, how many weeks' notice? 2 weeks or something?
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to make the weight. So I just want to say, this is at lightweight, but I foresee this possibly being at welterweight.
Or cancelled, honestly.
You can't. I don't think they'll cancel it, to be, because you got to, or they'll have to find a last minute replacement. So find someone else. But Jalin Turner struggles to make weight at the best of times.
Yes.
I mean, he's missed weight. I think he missed the last 2 fights, I think, but definitely against Dan Hooker, it was like 158.5 pounds or something.
Yeah.
How's he going to make weight like this on 2 weeks' notice?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I don't know why he's still fighting at lightweight, though. Have you seen him in his weight cut?
We said he's probably going to go to welterweight because he just struggles to make the weight, but don't know, trying to weight bully. I mean, he was looking good, dude, when he first started. I mean, he got 5 wins in a row. He's looking good. But then, in his defense, like, even his Dan Hooker loss, he was the better fighter, I feel. He just did stupid things, and he didn't push the action enough, and Dan Hooker could have lost that fight very easily.
Yeah, I think that came from him coming off a loss as well. Yeah, but now he's coming off 2.
Now he's coming off 2, taking this fight on short notice, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Like, to be honest, I don't think it's a smart fight for him to pick up, because if he wins, like, it's Bobby Green, and that's 12 versus 13. I don't think it really does that much for him. If he loses, then, like, and I think that there's a very real possibility that he loses this. Yeah.
Look, I think he's got more to lose in this fight, but if he wins and he wins convincingly on short notice, it's always a good thing. There's never anything bad coming from that. But I mean, Bobby Green's been in some good form. I mean, like, okay, he's beaten Tony Ferguson, which is a big name, but for me, I wasn't that impressed. It's Tony Ferguson. It's 2023 Tony Ferguson. So I don't know. Look,
but he also beat Dawson. I didn't think that was going to happen. That was very impressive.
Yeah, he fought like a month ago, dude.
Yeah,
Bobby Green.
Yeah.
So that's another reason. Like, why is he fighting again? Like 6 weeks later. But anyway, look, the biggest thing with Turner is always going to be his size and his weight. I mean, that's his biggest asset, his biggest strength.
Yeah,
he's so tall. Like, and Dan Hooker's tall, and he was like had taller, more range than him. Don't know. I'm not a fan of Bobby Green. Like, I don't know why. He's a slick boxer. He's added in good ground game. And we just mustn't forget he's also 37, though. So that's also in the back of my mind. Like, people age differently, but he is 37. I think if Jalin Turner had a full camp, he'd probably win this, in my opinion. I don't know. Unless you think Jalin Turner is going to win this.
I don't.
You don't? You got Bobby Green?
I got Bobby
I also
Green.
got Bobby Green. Yeah. How you got Bobby Green winning?
I have him as decision, honestly. I don't think he's going to be able to close the distance enough times to put him away, but I think he can outpoint him.
I also think so. Possibly 29, 28 is going to have some issues in that first round, but I also got him by decision. I don't think Turner can win this. Especially if he misses weight. If he makes weight, it's a bad thing because that weight cut's going to be drastic, dude.
Yeah,
he's going to have to, like, really, he's gonna be sucking some deep ones when he goes. So yeah, okay, so we both got decision.
Yeah,
we're exactly the same there. Now we get the main event. One of your other favorites, Beneil Dariush, 22-5-1 versus Arman Tsarukyan, one of my favorites, 20-3. Well, actually, we both like Arman.
Yeah.
At lightweight, Beneil 8-1 in his last 9. Arman 7-1 in his last 8. Only lost to Gamrot, which was somewhat controversial. And Beneil obviously now lost to Charles, fairly convincingly.
Yeah.
Had a good run before that, 8 wins. What are you saying here?
Okay.
What do you think of the fight first? Don't tell me who you got winning.
Yes.
Let's break it down first.
Okay. I think that Dariush is really awkward, and for him to have been broken down that systematically by Charles, I do think is maybe a little bit lucky in terms of how like his ground game was seen as really, really good, and then his back just got taken, and like he tapped quite quickly. I don't think Tsarukyan can do the same thing that Oliveira did. I mean, Oliveira is a special case, especially when it comes to grappling. And Tsarukyan's just so good. He's so, yeah. I think that fight against Gamrot, that split decision, I think that he did win. And even the fight with Islam, I think that he's given Islam the most trouble. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It was a tough one to call.
I think that the thing with Tsarukyan, like I think I mentioned it before, is he's basically got no weaknesses, Arman, right? And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because like I said with the Silva fight, he tried to beat him at his own game.
Yeah.
And if he tries to beat Beneil at his own game, he might struggle.
Yeah.
Because Beneil's a lot more slick than he is on the ground. Like when we're talking about submissions now, positions and stuff, possibly, he's got great grappling. I mean, like what he gave Islam a huge run for his money. I mean, that was besides his. I mean, it was his toughest fight, tougher than his loss.
Yeah.
Islam said. So I mean, it's going to depend on what type of game plan Arman's got. I think he has all the tools to beat Beneil kind of wherever he wants to. But I think if they get into a bit of more of a ground battle, he needs to be really careful because Beneil is slick, like super, super slick.
Yeah.
I think either way, because this number 4 in Beneil, number 8 in Arman, I think they line themselves up for title contention after this, whoever it is.
Yeah.
The lightweight title picture is far from clear. We don't know what's happening with Gaethje. We don't know what the point of the BMF belt is going to be now in this. Is he going to have to defend it as again a novelty?
Yeah.
Are they going to make it? Who knows? I think he should fight for title next, to be honest with you. And then if it's Arman or Beneil winning here, fight for the title next after that possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know where that leaves Charles, because Charles was the rightful number one contender, but
he can fight Islam in 2030 when the next fight comes out.
Yeah, when Islam's next one comes out.
Yeah.
In Riyadh season.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the only thing for me now is like Beneil was on a great run, but he's 35 now, dude. And Arman's like entering his peak, and he's 10 years younger.
Yes.
So I have gone for Arman to win by TKO round 2 or 3. I'm thinking round 2. I think if he does it, he wears him down in round 1, and then he gets the job done. Possibly Beneil can survive in round 2, but I think he gets it done in round 3. I think it's just too much pressure, too much athleticism, younger guy. Great everywhere. I'm a big fan of Arman Tsarukyan. Like, I think Arman Tsarukyan is the next. He's like definitely for me a future lightweight champion.
Yeah.
Provided Islam, I mean, if Islam stays, he's got the tools to beat Islam.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you saying for this one?
Okay. So I really had Beneil. I had Beneil up until I was thinking about how he would win. I was thinking maybe like a split decision because I don't think he's going to be able to put Arman away. And I can't see Beneil outpointing Tsarukyan. And I can't see Tsarukyan putting Beneil out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or submitting him, honestly. So I'm going to say decision for Tsarukyan.
Okay. So in the event that, I think we've got which one have we got different there?
We've got Sean Brady versus Gastelum.
Yeah, so in the event that gets cancelled somehow, we'll go down to, we've got the same choices as everywhere else, we'll go down to method.
Yeah.
That will be, again, the deciding one. Or barring a draw as well over there. That will be the deciding one. So, okay, it's going to be interesting. We should have a winner next week.
Yeah.
Speaking of Islam, I don't know if you saw what he said about Khabib returning. If Khabib returned, He would fight and fought Sean Strickland at middleweight. He reckons he would beat him.
Yo, to me, it's I did see, but I'm just trying to think. It really depends on the camp of Khabib, because if he had to just roll off the couch at 2 weeks' notice, I think that Sean would take him out. But like if he had like a 6-month camp, that's usually what he had. I think he would make quick work of him. You know.
Said today I was asked in one of the interviews. I'll pop the quote up for you guys. Today I was asked in one of the interviews, can Khabib come back and beat Strickland in the championship fight? I can say with confidence that he would easily do it. Easily do it. Almost 3 years have passed since Khabib, spelled incorrectly on this quote, finished his career, but he never missed a workout, and I can say with confidence, if he wants, it wouldn't be difficult for him. I mean, 185, Khabib, he walked around at 200 odd. He probably realistically should have fought at welterweight. I mean, he's a bit of a weight bully, but
yeah,
I think he can do it. I think he could beat Strickland. Just take him down. I mean, what is Khabib's style? What is Khabib's method to victory?
Yeah.
Take him down,
for sure.
lay on him. If he wilts and breaks, he submits him or ground and pounds him.
Yeah.
If not, he's happy to just lay there and give little punches and beat him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, also, I don't think Sean is a good wrestler either. So, I mean, it would be interesting without the weight bullying. But, yeah, probably. I think he'll probably still get it done.
Yeah, I also think he'd get it done. Maybe I'm just too disrespectful to Sean Strickland. I just don't see him... Maybe I shouldn't put that out in the universe. I just don't see him as such a great fighter. I think he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
And I think we now with him beating Izzy, I think that's kind of put a bit of a wall over our eyes and making people think he's better than he really is.
But there's also that thing that when you're a champion, then you get 20% better overnight. Like Leon Edwards, I think.
No, fair enough. They say like you want to, I think what it boils down to is like people want to stay there.
Yeah.
So they get there and they want to stay there. At least in the original, like in the first couple of fights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Khabib, again, just stylistically, I think it's a bad matchup. I think grapplers are a bad matchup for Sean Strickland, honestly. I don't think his wrestling's not bad, but I think his strong point is his awkward style standing up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's jiu-jitsu black belt, so I mean, he's comfortable off his back, and he is good at grappling. Yeah. So, but I mean, years and years and years of just having that ingrained in you as a wrestler from a young age. I mean, it spells trouble for Sean Strickland, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. It would depend on the weight that Khabib comes in at, because like you say, if he's walking at around at 200, I don't know. Depends on the weight cut. I don't know. I think that would just play a really big factor in the fight.
Look, DC's like super biased towards Khabib, obviously.
Yeah.
And DC says when he grappled Khabib, he felt like a heavyweight. And that's the one thing people note. Okay, 155, 185, big difference, but 155, people always know that they're like, dude, this guy feels heavy.
Yeah.
So
strong,
heavy, top pressure. They did this thing where they asked Khabib. It was on BJJ Fanatics.
Yeah.
This guy called Bernardo Faria, and they were asking him about top mount control. And what they do at the end of every session is basically he goes into mount, just uses his legs, and squeezes. So basically squeezes.
Yeah.
And says to the guy, do everything you can to get out. For 5 minutes they do that.
Yeah.
So he just uses his legs. No arms, nothing like it. He can base and all that. And that's what they do after every session. So his top control must be insane if he's able to do that. Like having someone actually control you with their legs from top is not fun. And having their hips low, like you can't scoot out or anything like that, can't move the legs, like, and then they're still punching you in the face. Yeah, no, that's not fun.
Yeah, yeah. Develop muscles that like you wouldn't think you could develop.
Inner thighs. Yeah, exactly. So speaking of the welterweight division, we were wondering last weekend what's happening with Marvin Vettori because he's been quiet for so long.
Yeah.
He's resurfaced actually, and he's basically said that he had two call outs. I can't remember who called out the first time he wanted to say. I think he said he would fight Hamza.
Yeah.
I think, and then he's come back now and he said, Pirate guy asked me again, and all I can say is I accept the request with open arms. Be careful what you wish for because it might happen. They say Pirate guy, by the way, is Sharabutdin Magomedov.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might see. Vettori, what are you doing, bro? This guy's had one fight in the UFC, but hey, bro, good for you. I don't know what other fights Vettori has.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fast track for Sharabutdin for sure, but I don't know. It seems like the UFC doesn't mind fast tracking anyone with the Magomedov at the end of the name, like others. So it might happen. I would really be keen to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no other real fight for Vettori because he can't fight Whitaker. He can't fight. I mean, Dricus is fighting for the title. Sean's fighting for the title. He just lost to Jared Cannonier, but even though Jared Cannonier is injured, I don't think they want to waste time with Hamzat. With him and Hamzat.
Alan could make sense, but I don't think Alan's probably just going to wait for a title shot or like a title eliminator.
Yeah, Alan, I mean, also Hamzat and Paulo Costa should fight each other.
Yeah.
I mean, who's Robert Whitaker fighting? I mean, that just not for Alan.
Yeah. Yes.
Robert Whitaker's already said no to Alan. He said there's no, I mean, you should wait your turn kind of thing, which I can kind of understand. I do think Alan needs a title eliminator, number one contender spot fight next. So in other words, the step before the number one contender. And to me, the only other person that's a number one contender we said last week was Robert Whitaker. If he wins one more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This for Vettori, he doesn't really have many more options. If he's calling out unranked people, maybe he's looking at it and he's going, listen, the two biggest names that are unranked is Bo Nickel and Sharabutdin.
Yeah.
So
it worked for Sean as well, so like mine as well.
Yeah, but I don't think Vettori gets a title shot if he wins this.
Yeah. What if he like puts him away really quick?
I don't think so. I think you still have Robert Whitaker that's there, Hamzat hype train member. I mean, if Dana should still be on the Hamzat hype train. You've also got to look at Izzy's realistically got one fight left. You want to get the most out of that fight.
Yeah. I
think Vettori's pretty low down on that list of contenders, dude.
Well, it's fair.
So maybe he just wants fun fights, and I mean maybe this. Look, he's probably looking at it from a financial standpoint as well, because Magomedov's going to bring a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
But Magomedov, bro, I mean, if you look at before he joined the UFC, you look at his Instagram pictures. Magomedov's nickname should be Instagram versus reality, dude.
Yeah.
The way he looks, the way he fights, I was not convinced. Look, it could be nerves, could be whatever.
Yeah.
Not convinced. I think Vettori probably puts him away.
Yeah, especially after that debut performance. I wasn't that impressed from Magomedov. Yeah.
He looked smallish.
Yeah, he did.
For welterweight.
Yeah.
He looked pretty small. It wasn't a convincing performance. He didn't have the muscle size that he has on his pictures or his previous fights.
Yeah.
Or the muscle definition. I think Vettori puts him away.
Yeah, I agree.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Gets a decision.
Vettori's almost like Beneil. He's a decision machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vettori would decision him. Yeah,
yes,
I think he would take him down and just hold him there.
Yeah.
For sure. No, for sure. Okay. So Tom Aspinall's also come out now calling for a Stipe fight. I'm gonna put this quote up for you guys as well. He says it makes complete sense. I don't know why anyone would dispute that. He's free, I'm free. Jones is injured. For Stipe, it's an absolute win-win. If he gets knocked out, he's getting knocked out against a young guy that's already a champion. If he wins, imagine the hype between him and John there. Win-win.
I think it's smart to at least campaign for that fight. I think that's smart of him. Also, Stipe, it does make sense for him because what if John just gets injured again and then retires? Like how much time would he waste?
I don't understand why John Jones is still the champion,
and
listen, everybody probably knows I'm a massive John Jones fan, but what's fair is fair.
Yeah.
Why did you make an interim title if you're not going to unify?
Yeah.
And Stipe is older. John Jones is getting on the older side. We said this last week again. One fight each, probably left. So I can understand why they're waiting.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go. You don't want to go and risk it against this young kid in there compared to them. That's like on the up. He's just about to go reach his peak. He's 10 years younger than what Stipe is, or something like that. 8 to 10 years younger.
Yeah.
If you're Stipe, because we spoke about John Jones last week, why he wouldn't want to do it. If you're Stipe, you want to hold out for that one more fight against John Jones, which is a win-win fight, because if you lose, you lose to the GOAT. If you win, you beat the GOAT. Massive, massive payday. Like, huge payday.
Yeah.
If you go against Aspinall, there's the thing of okay, you beat this young up-and-comer and the John Jones fight then becomes bigger, but like we say, he's got one fight left, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose fight for me, for for Stipe.
Yeah, I saw Chael talking about this as well, and he made a really really good point where it was John Jones should not have ever said that he was going to retire. That was not a good move because now I think all of these decisions are going to come down to who, if John Jones has one fight left, what does that look like?
Did he say he's going to retire after his next fight?
I think he like alluded to it when he came back, but like he's been very quiet about it. So it's like,
It's up in the air.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done that, yeah, because if Dana starts hearing that,
Yeah.
He's gone against John before and it's like made him wait. He's
Yeah.
like, well, does John Jones want to fight? Oh no, well, you know what? If people don't want to fight, I can't force them to fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They need to figure something out because it doesn't make sense to have like, what are they going to do? Because I can understand them. Okay, I can understand a champion keeping a belt if he's injured.
Yeah.
But then you've got an interim belt, and then you unify.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is Aspinall going to do for next year?
But what else I don't get is like who made the decision when Jamal Hill and Yuri Prohaska, they both gave the belt up because they got injured. But who makes that decision? Is that them or the UFC?
UFC can ask, I guess. So you've got two ways: you can relinquish the belt, or you can get stripped of the belt. And I think they would probably say to them, "Listen, guys, like relinquish.
Yeah.
It'll be better for you in the long term." So look, but they're not John Jones. That's the thing. John Jones Stipe is the greatest of all time, the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
That's money. That's a lot of money. So the UFC is a complete different ball game with them.
Yeah.
So it's holding up the division because Aspinall's ready to fight. So what's he going to do now? He's not going to put his interim title on the line the next time he fights. And,
yes.
Because then he's kind of really defending the real belt.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's weird. It's a weird space. I also did see him talking about maybe doing boxing. Because they're not going to keep him active.
Smart, dude.
Yeah.
It's smart. The thing is, I sometimes wonder, right? Because especially now with all the Saudi money that's coming into things, and if you do a boxing match in Saudi, mind you, I don't know if Tom Aspinall's got a big enough name in the world, but he's got a big enough name in the UK where they could maybe do him and Joshua.
Yeah. Oh.
That would be, for the British fans. So you could do that in the UK, but then you don't have the whole security of like being okay to make a loss, which you do have in Saudi. So the thing is, I don't know, it depends what the contract situation is. Because if there's like a fine or you can get sued or you got to pay anything, maybe he goes and weighs it up and he goes like, okay, I've got to pay X to get out of my contract or go fight somewhere else. If that's the penalty clause.
Yeah.
I'm going to make 20X if I go fight in Saudi. So 20 minus 1, 19, I end up making a huge sum of money. Become an even bigger star like Francis Ngannou did. Yeah. I'm still technically under contract. I can settle with the UFC and say, you know what, guys, come on. I beat Anthony Joshua. I fought Anthony Joshua. I had a good showing like Ngannou did.
Yeah.
Let's make the fight now.
Yeah.
I think it's smart for him to do that. If he can get it, if there's a way for him to get a boxing fight.
Yeah. There's also a boxing fight out there that it's not ever going to happen, but I think would also be super smart. Just as a gimmick fight, like purely as a gimmick fight, and that's him versus Tyson Fury. Because they train together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean I think that would sell so easily because they
British
and they train together. Like that's like if you just fake fight or fake that you're arguing, like that.
Tyson Fury can sell a fight really well, so his dad will stay away, but he can sell a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's sad because what made the UFC so good and so popular was that they were not boxing in a matchmaking sense.
Yeah.
So the big criticism people have had in boxing for years, and it's sort of changing now in the heavyweight division, kind of at least, but also not really. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's like the best would never fight the best.
Yeah.
For years, people were calling for Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao to fight each other.
Yeah.
It was 5 years in the making. Pacquiao was they were both kind of over the hill. The hype had died down.
Yeah.
They would never make those fights. The UFC at the same time, and why they became so popular so big, is the best would fight the best. And inevitably, as a result of that, you would make money.
Yeah.
Okay? It wasn't like, okay, let's just do it, like make it a little bit more gimmicky and make money first.
Yes.
And then maybe it becomes a good fight and maybe the fans are okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give Conor the blame for this, but I think he showed us, like a lot of times, he was deserving of his title shots actually. He showed a lot of times like there were fights. It was like, should he really be fighting this guy? Like the Dustin fight.
Yeah.
If he beat Dustin, then he would have probably fought for a title after that. And now, more recently, particularly now, like the UFC is in recent years
Like this,
doing the boxing model.
yeah, and it doesn't make sense for Stipe to be fighting John Jones anymore. It's with that interim title in the mix.
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, you had. I'm glad the Dricus situation changed as well. But people were saying when Dricus was not going to get a title shot, and if he doesn't sell the fight enough, UFC's not going to make enough money. There's not enough hype and this and that.
Yeah,
Boxing model.
yeah. It's like, what's the point of having rankings really?
Understand it's a business. Understand that.
Yeah,
But it's like at the same time you've got two parts of the business. You've got existing customers, people who want to watch it, you want to keep them, and you've got new customers. Okay, so yes, you want to get new customers, get as many eyes on it as possible, make as much money. But the making money part is a component of that. Is those casual fans, and a big component, probably the bigger component, is the people that you keep, the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Just don't get it, man. I just don't get what the UFC's doing, and it could come back to hurt them. That I don't really think so. I think they're still the number one, the biggest, even though, and this is probably segueing to the next topic, but PFL buying Bellator.
Yeah.
I don't think it really is a blip in the radar at the moment, to be honest with you. The UFC is going to be the biggest for years to come until something changes.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you. If you just look at the financial model as well, I don't think PFL makes that as much as
I have no idea how that works.
Yeah.
It has to be investors. Like it has to be investors. I think Graham from EFC was saying like one championship, one FC, or one whatever they're called now, and PFL. It's all just investment rounds and public funding. And the thing is, if you're publicly trading, and you keep raising funds, so if you have a set number of shares, you do a share. I forget what they call it, but basically introduce more shares at a buy option.
Yeah.
Not a buy option. I'm butchering this. It's escaping me now. I've done it for a couple of shares, but basically they give you an option to buy at a reduced rate if you're an existing shareholder, a certain percentage of your current shares at a reduced rate because they want to raise capital.
Yeah.
You dilute your shares basically. Okay, so that's bad. Also, if you're raising capital on the stock market, you're giving away a percentage of the company essentially, because if you buy shares, you're a shareholder.
Yes.
And that's essentially what I believe PFL is doing, but they're getting funding as well. So you've watched Shark Tank, I'm sure, and Dragon's Den. Basically, give us 100 million, you give you X amount.
Yeah.
So the financial model to me doesn't make any sense. I mean, they gave away how many $1 million purses to people, and you go look in the crowd in the arena, is like zero gate almost.
Yeah, and I saw it was Dave Brunson. He fought this weekend. This is just a side note. He looks massive. But he tweeted like your boy got paid.
Yeah, I said I'm done and I want Jake Paul or something like that.
Yeah.
What they all gonna fall and I want Jake Paul or something like that.
Yeah.
But good for Brunson. I mean, I think he did everything he could in UFC. I think he was done. I mean,
after losing like that to Dariush.
Yeah, I mean they were both buggered, and it's like chuck the towel in. Like it's.
Yeah.
I think he was done, but it'd be interesting to see how much they get paid. Look, the top guys in the UFC get paid properly.
Yes.
I mean, they get paid a lot of money. The big bone of contention comes where people say like the total percentage payment of what the athletes get versus what the UFC gets. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And when you're starting out, you don't get that much money. But not to make us about fighter pay or whatever, but Sean O'Malley also said, he's like, you know what, I don't give a shit because the UFC gives me the platform to then become a big star.
Yes.
Outside of the UFC, I make so much money outside of the UFC. Without the UFC, I wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
And now he happens to be a champion, so now he gets paid.
Yeah.
And again, if you are a big draw, you get more money because you get more pay-per-view sold.
It makes sense. I mean, most of that money that goes to the UFC, I don't think it's going to Dana's pocket. It's going to employees and a lot of marketers. Marketers with the expressing like their job to market you. So if you can then use that, that makes a lot of sense.
Dude, they've got so many employees. They've got so much. I mean, the amount of money that they must be spending to get this art and to do what they do. I mean, just like we know about production, like how long it can take to do certain things. They got the embedded stuff out like this quick.
Yeah.
As an example, I mean, the show that they're putting on is crazy. Okay, I think with pay-per-views, that's where they start to like, you make per event money. And then you start to like look at, okay, for this event we got this gate, we got this pay-per-view buys, we got this TV deal, this sponsor, this.
Yeah.
But it works. Like, would you rather? I mean, listen, they're fighters. People are fighters at the end of the day. You got to look again at what it brings when you're fighting in the UFC. You're fighting in the UFC. We look at like even here locally, the sponsorship deals people get. People start going to your gym because it's more popular. People want you to come and do appearances. People want you to do all this kind of stuff. So it's maybe that people could get paid more, but is that financially sound? I mean, how many organizations have been around, come and gone, since the UFC stayed and been there for years and years?
Yeah.
I mean, there was what was the Elite XC was there. Bellator's gone. Okay, they got bought now. There was okay, Pride got bought out. That's a different story. There was what was the one that was always so popular? You used to have a Rockstar in the middle of the. Anyway, I forget what they were called. They've also come and gone.
Yeah.
So I think there was a tap out organization group at one stage. But I don't understand. I mean, look, also this whole segment's really about like whether the UFC will stay or not and things like that. But the PFL, I can link it to wrestling. Okay, like WWE type wrestling. WWE has now like sort of a rival called AEW. Okay. AEW's model is literally to be like, if you're unhappy in WWE, we're gonna take you and we're gonna be like to WWE.
Yes, it's not a very sustainable.
It's not sustainable because one, you have to probably pay them more, and they have been paying them more.
And then you can earn less because you don't have the same visibility.
Well, also they're getting people that are sort of semi washed up. They're not buying the biggest stars. Okay, they took. I mean, Cody Rhodes started it, and he's now a big star in WWE. He wasn't that big a star when he went to AEW, but then he went back to WWE. It's a slap in the face to AEW. Yeah. Then there was a guy called CM Punk. So you know CM Punk from UFC. CM Punk was probably the biggest star in professional wrestling in 2013, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Got pissed off with the UFC, WWE went and did his own thing, but people still spoke about him. So then there was this thing like, okay, if they get CM Punk in AEW, it's over for WWE.
Okay.
And Daniel Bryan, these two stars.
Yeah.
You usually know they're two stars.
Yeah.
They both went to AEW. Got frustrated, other people got jealous, like for whatever reason. One's still there, the other one's left. CM Punk. He's gone back to WWE now. People were like, oh yeah, okay, so what I'm getting at is they get these people that are sort of semi-washed up, and even big names, but people are always just like, let's CM Punk from WWE. And then they become disinterested after a while, and they end up going back watching WWE. They're not getting the biggest stars, besides maybe Francis in PFL.
I see what you mean. But don't you mean the UFC style CM Punk?
UFC star, the greatest of all time. Only 2 losses in his resume ever.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's John Jones. John Jones has 1 loss. Like, he's up there. GSP's got 2 losses.
Absolutely.
CM Punk. Up there.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, but the thing is, it's like you need to build your own stars, and it's tough to build your own stars without paying them more.
Yes.
So now you got to go fork out a lot of money. And it's growing pains. Like, you got to fork out money for people that like at the UFC, you'll be getting 5,000 to show and 5,000 to win.
And you're not going to be able to run events as big for sure.
No.
Yeah.
And people want to fight in the UFC. Let's be honest. People say, like, I'm all for the competition.
Yeah.
And I think it's great for a lot of people. There's a lot of fighters, like local guys, like BK's in 1 championship.
Yeah.
I still think it's a good platform for him to go and show his thing.
Yeah.
Show himself. Don Madge is in PFL. It's a great platform as well for him still to go and show himself.
Yeah.
Because he is still a big star, and he left the UFC not because he got cut or not because he wasn't good enough. He just wasn't getting fights.
Yeah.
So guys in that people like that go there and they're like, okay, I'm joining PFL, or I'm joining 1 on my own.
Yeah.
Fair enough, because they're also going to be loyal to the brand.
Yes.
But it's like Brunson, he was 5th, and then he lost to Dricus, dropped down to like 9th or whatever, 2 losses in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna build it on lack of a better term, UFC rejects. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the guys and girls that won the tournament, the one guy, how do you say his name? He got the most viral KO pretty much against Joaquim Buckley. He just won the tournament.
I don't think it's maybe then a good platform for people like Derek Brunson. He's not going to make another title run, but he's still a big name. So it's a place for him to still be seen. I don't know.
Fair enough, but let me ask you a question.
No.
Can you name me any other PFL?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He's the big draw for them in middleweight now.
Yeah.
Look, it's a good move. I'm not saying it's not a good move, but like realistically, how far can it go? But then I think the thing is, because they're not fighting each other, it's always going to be this like cross-promotional call-out where people are like, oh, but this guy's improved, he's done better, will he beat the UFC, will he not, champion, will he win any? So, I don't know, I just think people are wondering now, like, oh, the PFL bought Bellator, and people are making comments like, see, Dana, this is how you pay fighters. I want to see how long the PFL is going to be around for.
If they make moves like this,
I don't understand the financials.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I do know what you mean. It doesn't make sense. Just in terms of the fundamental of it's not as big a company, doesn't have as many eyes. If they're paying their fighters more, that doesn't make sense. For them to function as a business. Yeah.
But I do like the competition. I think the competition makes people better. I just wish that people could get more stars of their own, but maybe that will come.
Yeah, like so if you look at like what's Jorge Masvidal's promotion, like that's also
Favorite.
Yeah, that's doing things. It's better than a monopoly.
Yeah, that's bare knuckle though. So it's not. There's no MMA gloves, so I don't think it would really ever be competition for the UFC.
Yeah.
I guess it's a different. It's something different. You bare knuckle MMA. But I was having this chat with Jess, namely, and she like at the Ignite launch, and then also just like in passing or whatever. And she was saying like if you think about it, bare knuckle MMA is really not that hardcore, that hectic.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, right, bare knuckle boxing, you've got just your hands. There's gloves. Now you take that away. So all your weapons are now bare knuckle or bare.
Yeah.
MMA, your knees are open, your feet are open, your shins are open, your elbows are open.
Yeah.
Your hands aren't.
Yeah.
So it's one tool out of like 10.
I think it's the cuts though. You just get cut.
You can get cut. Okay. Yeah. I'll let you finish. I've already got my rebuttal, but yeah. Okay.
I think it's just like it's the knuckle because it causes a lot more cuts in fights. I think so. I can't.
Let me ask you this: if you were to try to cut somebody in an MMA fight, okay,
use an elbow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A knee or an elbow.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree with you. There are cuts that happen with it. That I think it's just. I think it's just. Okay, it's another weapon that you can use, but it's not the. And anyway, MMA gloves are what, 4 ounce.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of padding, and you can still get cut. Like a lot of people have been cut by the seam over the years, and they've adjusted it. But if someone by accident maybe gets you with this part, which is not closed, you can still get cut.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I guess it's just like it's different things. You're probably less likely to get a hematoma. It's
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, So PFL Bellator, I don't think it's competition for the UFC just yet. Hopefully we can get to a point where there might be competition. And then I think competition just breeds everybody being better.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody being better.
Sure.
Just if I could go back to wrestling, back in the days, this belt, WCW, was where this belt comes from.
Yeah.
Like NWA first, and this specific one, WCW. When WCW was around, WWE started with the Attitude Era, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, like all those stars, Triple H.
Yeah.
Only because WCW was around. They had to push it.
Yeah.
So whereas now you'd have The Rock pitch up every 10 years or whatever, or the biggest star pitch up at a pay-per-view, you had them on every Wednesday night on SmackDown. You had Thursday night on SmackDown. You had them every Monday night on Raw. Every single week you had them. So, anyways, good luck to PFL Bellator. Hopefully the amalgamation. Yeah, but if I could ever speak to anyone from PFL, I'd love to see how the financial work.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense to me. So speaking of PFL and Bellator, there was Larissa Pacheco called out Chris Cyborg.
Oh, hectic.
Yeah.
I didn't
to try to fight. She said something like, "Someone thinks they're a bad, and I'm a bad, and I'm gonna take you out," or something. I don't have the quote here with me. And then Cyborg was watching the video, and she responded like something about like I'm a woman, I'm not a kid, or something like that. I'll take you out or whatever. Smart move by Pacheco. She won the tournament, so she's got $1 million.
Yeah.
But Chris Cyborg, dude, short of Amanda Nunes, probably the second best. Possibly, I mean, you can make a case for being the best female athlete, female fighter ever, especially with the boxing and stuff. Smart call out, a lot of money, especially maybe PFL will go and win those financials to get them a couple of millions. But
Yeah.
Chris Cyborg I think she's gonna hurt her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's smart, just get the money, but like, I don't think anyone can confidently say that they would beat Chris Cyborg. So yeah, I mean, yeah, get the money. Get the payday.
But if you think about it, like people always say, "Yo, why would you go and call out Chris Cyborg and things like that?" But if you think about it, they're fighters.
Yeah.
So they don't share that thing of like, "Oh, I'm gonna get up here." You know, they just kind of like, "Well, listen, this is the peak of my sport."
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest with you, I think when we talk about PFL and Bellator, I think they should go and push Chris Cyborg to be one of their biggest stars, because I think if we're talking about this UFC fight card now.
Yeah.
The woman, the women's matches, like the one female fight that's on there, Misha Tate, or the one that I saw.
On the
undercard.
That's true.
You know, we've been reviewing a lot of the fights in the last couple of weeks, and we were talking about Jessica Andrade, versus what was her name again? Mackenzie Dern, to slip my mind. Number 5 and 7, and Andrade was on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
They're quite thin in the female fight division, though.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. Yeah.
Cyborg doesn't have long left.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I think they should go and push a lot behind Cyborg.
She's still crashing it. Ever since she's gone there, she's like only been winning it and convincingly.
Yeah, and she's gone and transitioned into boxing. She's a Grand Slam champion too. Yeah, she's got all the titles. It was that thing with the Rockstar man. I forget what it was called. It wasn't Elite XC. I forget that organization. She's got a title there. She's got a Bellator title. She's got a UFC title, and then she has another title in one of the. She's the closest to Grand Slam title. So if she now goes to PFL, that's like legit a Grand Slam. That's 5.
Yeah.
The 5 most major. I guess you can throw 1 in there, so maybe then. But she's the closest thing anyone is to a Grand Slam champion of any sort.
Yeah.
And boxing title. I think she won some boxing title too.
After this, she should go to Glory.
Go to Glory?
Yeah. Exactly.
She probably... No, listen, dude. She probably could. I mean, it's a singular sport compared to like the mixed, but knowing her, she could probably... She's so tough, dude. She's so strong.
Yeah.
So I think she would do some damage, definitely. Yeah. Dude, I don't know if you saw, so we got another cuck in our midst. I can't say that word as a South African without laughing. So yeah, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say this word, bro, but cuck. C-U-C-K. That's right, our producer confirmed. We got another one in our midst. First it was Adam22, then Logan Paul, and now Ian Garry. The 3 great cucks of our times. So, hey, let's get serious on this.
Okay.
We're going to stay professional, okay. So,
I'm ready.
The 3 great cucks of our times. Sorry. Okay. So, Adam22 was a podcaster, okay? I can't remember what the podcast is called. Not Fresh and Fit, something else. Jump 22, okay? Don't know why it's Adam22, but anyway, okay? He has a wife called Lena the Plug. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why the f*** is her name is Lena the Plug. Okay. Okay. I feel like this should be a members only. I feel like this should be a members only snippet. Yes, this is real. Okay. So they used to do scenes. I'm gonna use the PG version. Scenes with other women. So it'd be the 3 of them or 2 other women or whatever. Okay. It was never another guy. Okay. And they had this agreement or whatever, and people were like, "Why? How does this work? Whatever."
Yeah.
And then there was some controversy around Adam22. I'm not going to go into the controversy, but there was speculation about stuff because I don't actually know precisely. But basically, he had agreed for his wife to get plowed by another dude. Not just any dude, a guy called Jason Love. Okay. I found this stuff out on YouTube and on TikTok. Okay. Jason Love's about what, 6'5". they reckon he's got like a third leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I've never watched any of his work, so I don't know. But they basically said like she went straight to the final boss, right?
Yeah.
So he let her like. He okayed it, okay?
Yes.
And then he was like, it's for money or whatever. And people are like, you're a cuck. Like, surely.
Yes,
like,
for sure.
There's no way you can just let, like, what happened? Either you're a cuck or something bad happened.
Yeah.
The other day, somebody sent me a video, a reel of her sitting on a couch, Lena the Plug, sitting on a couch. And then they, like, go out, and there's 6 dudes around her standing there looking at her like...
Oh, no.
Like a full-on meme.
Oh, no.
So I'm assuming he's now let... Or get like railed by a train. Okay, I think that's political. I think that's PG.
Yes.
Okay, cuck number 1. Okay, we're gonna do the cuck roulette.
Yeah.
The word just sounds so bad.
Yeah.
Number 2, we've spoken about it. Logan Paul. You know the Logan Paul saga.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have to re-explain the Logan Paul saga.
Yes.
Major cuck. Okay. One thing though about him is he threatened to sue Dylan Dennis for things that were super public.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, Ian Garry, his wife. You know the story.
I a little bit, but not too much. I know of Ian Garry.
Okay, so Ian Machado Garry, he changed his name. Okay. He's 26, his wife is 40. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. She doesn't look 40, but she's 40. Okay. I think they're still expecting a child, or they've had the child, but... Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't know if that's smart, but anyway, that's their decision.
Yeah.
She was married before to some dude, I forget his name. He was like a famous nutritionist. Okay? Take a guess who Ian Machado Garry's nutritionist is.
Is it a name I would know?
The ex-husband, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know the name. Come on, I thought I was making it easy for you.
No, okay. Hector.
Okay,
Hector.
not just that, he lives with them.
Wow.
He lives with them. Okay?
Yo.
To make matters worse, when she was younger, I don't know how long ago.
Yeah.
So Ian Garry was like getting kicked out of gyms.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, like, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but there's like a connection now because they reckon like people are like, dude, you gotta watch out for your wife, okay?
Yeah.
She wrote a book a few years ago, I don't know, how to be a wag and attract and land yourself a young sportsman.
Oh, interesting.
Essentially trap yourself a famous sportsman.
Interesting, yeah.
And then I read the description, it was like, do you want to be the next Victoria Beckham? And then she was like naming all these names. Okay, she wrote that book.
Yeah.
And now she has herself a younger sportsman. So people came out and they were like, dude, what what is happening here? And I saw a clip on Instagram and I didn't pay much attention to it because I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, if that's true, then this, I'll have words with you. Yeah. But if it's true, but I don't think it's true. Yeah. It's people that we don't know saying it.
Yeah.
If people we knew said it, it's like
that's
people
really
you. Oh, thanks, man. No, I didn't practice. It comes naturally. Maybe it's the weather, you know, the light skin and the.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Irish roots.
Yeah.
But so that and then Sean Strickland came out and he was literally like, dude, you need to be careful. Like,
yeah.
She wrote a book about wags. She essentially groomed you because she's so much older than you.
I mean, but he's not the next David Beckham, for sure.
No, well, she's his manager too, by the way. So you never know how much money the dude's making, and they are pushing him.
Oh, that is
the Connor connection. He tries to do Connor things.
Yes,
but I agree, he's probably not. But it's uncanny, dude. Like,
yeah, I didn't know he was that young actually.
Yeah, he's 26. 26.
Yeah.
So then he came out to Sean Strickland, and then basically Sean DM'd him. He DM'd him back saying, "I'm gonna sue the shit out of you. I'm trying to help you and all this." And Sean Strickland's like, "What the?" He's like, "Dude, come on!" Like weird. Pulling a Logan Paul. He's like, in the fight game, you don't sue. He's like, if you had told me you're gonna fuck me up or you're gonna shoot me or whatever, I'd have more respect for you. But I've lost all respect for you. I don't give a shit. You can sue me. Don't you know by now you can't sue me? Like, I don't give a shit. So now it's like, who's the biggest cuck of the three? Is it going to be? I still think Adam 22 is, because how you let your wife get plowed like that.
Yeah.
But
like
bro,
professional.
And then 6 professionals after that.
Yes.
Bro, there's a clip. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
You at home, guys, go on YouTube and type in Sneeko and Adam 22's conversation. It's a short. Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to say the bit on YouTube. It's not very PG, but anyway. But we're gonna review UFC 296 in a couple of weeks, and I don't think Ian Garry should pitch up.
Okay, fair.
Colby Covington's there, dude.
Yeah. Well, why is that?
Dude, didn't you hear what Colby Covington said to Dustin Poirier about his wife, about Jalin?
Uh,
Imagine what a field day. And I remember they're the same weight
Yeah.
division. Yeah, I think Gary's been talking a little bit of shit on Colby Covington.
Yeah.
It would be so hilarious if Colby Covington rocked up to the UFC 296 press conference.
Yeah.
Remember when he was reading the I forget what book he was reading in the Kamaru Usman fight?
Mm.
Imagine he pulls up to the 296 press conference with How to Be a Wag
Yeah.
and reading How to Be a Wag. Gary should just
Yeah.
stay out of it.
But it's smart for publicity. But yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Then
What's smart for publicity?
No, for Ian, because then there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's like, yeah,
I just look at Adam 22 and he just never recovered after that.
yeah, that's poor dude.
You can see the pain in his eyes. Every time someone-
His wife.
Bro, people ask him questions like about it, and you just see the pain in his eyes. Like, I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah.
Ian Garry though, the thing is like, people are trying to say to him like, dude, I think you need to get out of this like relationship. Shame, man. Maybe he really loves the woman, but he's been played. I feel.
I mean, but I don't know.
Let everybody else at home decide who's the cuck of the year. We need to find out. It's those three. It's the roulette. Who is it? Adam Paul. See, they're already starting to confuse. Adam 22, Logan Paul, Ian Garry. I think, dude. I think that's enough for tonight.
Yeah.
I think we've started to go to the realms of cuckery. So,
Oh my God.
anyways, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Tune in next week. See who takes home the belt. Maybe we should make an award, and if we ever get to meet, no, let's not do that. I was going to say give a Cuck of the Year award and give it to somebody, but anyway, I know exactly what shape that trophy can be in. Just so that's good word for it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.